Hi, my name is Kish and welcome back. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, to follow the story, you have to watch the first and the second video. Today, we talk about conversion disorder and dissociation. Before we continue, I saw in the second video, I mentioned that I was abused in high school, but that's not true. I was abused in primary school. So let's continue. Conversion disorder is a condition or a state where your body converts psychological distress into physical symptoms that cannot be evaluated by or that cannot be explained by medical evaluation. So we're still in primary school. And so this one time, the head teacher was speaking in the assembly, and my hands and my feet started becoming cold. It felt like someone put them in the freezer, and the cold was kind of moving up or crawling up my limbs. Then my chest became tight or tighter and tighter, and breathing was really difficult. And all of a sudden I fell, and my hands went this way or this way, but horizontally. I could hear people speak, obviously, but I felt it from afar, and I could see, but I wasn't able to move. I was basically kind of paralyzed. I was taken to hospital and I got a Valium shot. So whenever I would get a Valium shot, it would relax me, and for my body to relax, it usually takes quite some time. And after that, I was extremely tired. So basically, when I came back from hospital, I would go to the sick bay or to the hostel. Anyways, this happened even when I went to high school, but we'll get back to that later. So I also experienced dissociation, or I started experiencing early signs of dissociation. Okay, so dissociation is basically a psychological condition where your identity or a person's identity is fragmented into two or more distinctive personality states called alters. Dissociation is actually a rare and complex psychological condition. This condition is basically characterized by disconnection between feelings, thoughts, a sense of identity, consciousness, and so on. You also experience some sort of involuntary escape from reality or out of the body experience. It feels, let me try to explain it. It feels like, you're watching a program or TV, like you're not really there. You can't connect with your surrounding or your feelings or your emotions. Maybe the best example is, when you get an extremely bad news, and because you can't believe it, you go into this state. I'm not sure if you can get that. So that's what that's the best way I can explain dissociation. So I experienced this, and the first thing was forgetfulness. I forgot people's names, my friends. that was the worst experience for me. And it became worse even as I went to high school. Oh, I missed, I left out something with the conversion disorder. So there was this one time, or there was one occasion where I went to, I got the attack, went to the hospital, and I went to this hospital where my uncle, I'm not sure, my dad's cousin or relative worked. And so he was a doctor there. So he came to see me after, I had come back to life. Anyways, so he came to see me and then asked his colleague to attend to me. So the colleague began asking me questions about what was going on in school. Was there something stressing me? Because he knew that this is associated with stress, extreme stress or trauma. So I couldn't tell him. This is because of the consequences. When I told my friends and the head teacher, I mean the deputy, and yeah, I mentioned that in the second video. I wish I did tell at that time. Maybe I would have gotten help, but I didn't say. Anyways, so that continued as I mentioned through high school. Okay, so I'll just talk a little bit partly about high school, then we can continue, the next video, maybe, or we can finish it, depends on time. So I went to high school and I still had the attacks, and again, it happened frequently in different places. I could not control it, and the forgetfulness or the dissociation, it went from bad, moderate, to worse. And I remember many times I wasn't able to go to school. I mean, not school, class. Because it also came with insomnia, and extreme sleep. So sometimes I slept a lot, and sometimes I could not sleep the night. And so I could not go to class in these states. I mean, if I didn't sleep, I cannot stay in class. And if I'm sleeping too much, I feel really tired. And I wasn't able to identify with my environment. So it was really hard for me during that time. And so, yeah, there was the same thing when I got the attack, went to hospital, Valium. So I got Valium for a while, during the attacks. And then it reached a point on several occasions, I can say, where I had the attack, went to the hospital, and I don't remember, but there were nurses on different occasions and doctors on different occasions telling me this. They said that I didn't want to study, so this was a way to get out of school. And then there's a time this one doctor, and it wasn't just him, But I remember, because that was the first time when he said, or he asked me, why are you wasting your mother's money? Why are you wasting this, school fees that has been paid for you? You're so lucky that you don't have anyone to take care of. I mean, you don't have any problems. You don't have, kids to feed, rent to pay. Everything has been provided for you, and this is an opportunity that you should not waste. And that was not the first time that I got that. There were times when I was told that I was looking for attention, both in school and in the hospital. But the thing I'm wondering is, they gave me Valium. So then I'm thinking, okay, so the fact that they gave me Valium, they were aware of this condition. And I'm just wondering why, or how come they never referred me to see a specialist. And when I think about that, it annoys me, because there are other kids who are going through this, and if not treated early, it may lead to other mental illnesses. For instance, chronic depression, chronic anxiety, or bipolar. We'll talk about those later. Yeah, so obviously I went back to school, and school was quite interesting because of the discrimination and the stigma. And my janitor also used to say the same thing, that I'm wasting my mother's money, and if I don't want to study, I should just go home. And there were times when I would have the attack and nothing would be done. They would leave me just lying there, and everybody went on with their business. So what happened, if I didn't get the Valium, I could not function. It took 1 to 2 weeks before I could get back to normal. And it was hard. It was hard, and I experienced that throughout high school. And I didn't get this just from the hospital and the janitor and the clinician or doctor. I don't remember what title he had, but he was in the sick bay. So most of the time I was in the sick bay or sleeping. And other students also, started talking, and I felt so guilty for missing classes, and I was so guilty, and I wanted to die. I did want to die. Many times when I was in class, I'd just be sleeping. And whenever we had lessons, I was not, I was dissociated. I heard what was said, but I could not connect with it. I'm not sure how to explain that, but I could not connect. I could not connect with it. That's the best way I can explain it. So it was like it went in and went out. I did not understand a lot of things. I could not remember a lot of things. And even whenever I would study, I could not remember. The forgetfulness took a toll on me. And yeah, so with the discrimination, stigmatization, and all that made it very difficult for me. And I felt really, really guilty for not attending class, for not passing my exam, and so on. I mean, there were times when I'd be doing my exam, but I kept reading and reading and rereading the question because I did not understand. Immediately I read it, I forgot. And yeah, so on several occasions, I actually attempted suicide. My family doesn't know about this, but they will hear it on this. I had no hope. I had no future because it was incapacitating. It was intolerable. And I was going through this alone. There was a time when I told the guidance and counseling teacher, and I talked, we had several sessions. And then after a while, she started avoiding me. She started avoiding me, and that was hard. It was like whenever he saw me coming from the other side, she would use another route or go back to where she came from. That was really hard. When I remember this experience, it really breaks my heart that I didn't have support and the stigma. Anyways, this is what we have for today. I hope to see you next time. It is goodbye for now. Bye-bye.